Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Cass and I'll be here talking about things surrounding sex and relationships. Today's topic is actually a bit of a personal one, but I'm hoping that my reasons for doing so will be the same reason that, or you know, maybe some of you will understand what I'm going through. Maybe some of you, maybe this might help you. And if it does, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment box below. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop me an email and I will be sure to answer your questions on here or on the podcast or on my YouTube page, on my Instagram page. And please follow us on all of our social media platforms. Why I decided to stop having casual sex. So where do we even begin? I think the root of this story means that we have to go back into my childhood. And I think some of it is a little bit like trauma based, but then a lot of it is also how I interpreted some of the trauma that happened in my life. So I have often spoken about sexual abuse and sexual assault, which has happened numerous points in my life. So goes the story for many women in the global south, many women in Kenya. I was sexually assaulted when I was a little girl by somebody who was a teacher in my school. And it continued to happen to me throughout my life in different instances, and I sort of felt like in order for me to reclaim my sexuality, I was gonna have to be in complete control, which means that I make all the decisions. And a lot of times I got into sexual encounters that were about my partner at the time, and there was just that there had been the conversation around consent was very blurry. But now that I know more, I do understand that those instances were not consensual because coercion is not consent. And so I always felt like if I got myself into a situation, which I did many times in my 20s that were not particularly safe, but if I got myself into those situations, then I found that if I took control of the situation, in my 20s, I thought that taking control of a situation just meant saying yes instead of saying no to save yourself from really terrible outcomes. So for the most part, a lot of my 20s were spent doing that and sleeping with people who I wasn't supposed to be sleeping with, and for a myriad of reasons. But I did have very many sexual encounters, which, looking back, I'm just like, I could have really avoided so many things in my life if I had said no to that person. So I want to talk about why I became so sexually active. Therapy after therapy, we've discussed hypersexuality. I thought I was hypersexual. The hypersexuality was a response to my trauma and my sexual assault experiences that I've had in my life. I did think a lot about it, and I did think that the hypersexuality was based on trauma, but I thought it also had an element of who I really was tucked deep in there. But the truth of the matter is, and I've been learning this about myself over the years where I've been doing the work as a sex educator, I'm realizing now more and more that actually the hypersexuality was just a defense mechanism more than anything else, like I said. And now more and more when I get into sexual experiences with different people, I am just not very keen. And if I feel that way, then I don't do anything at all. But I really want to get into situations that are completely holistic, that are going to heal me in any way, that are, and I expect the same from my sexual partners, is that the sex that we have is healing, and I think sex should be healing. I think that everybody who leaves a sexual encounter should be feeling better than they did going in. I don't think there should be sexual encounters where you feel disgusting or guilty. There's definitely a myriad of reasons why you'd feel guilty. Maybe there's some things that you're working on, some stuff that you're unlearning. There's a lot of religious guilt that comes across with a lot of sexual encounters, but without any forced reasons. Over the last 4 years, I've had very few sexual encounters, and now more deliberately so. Actually, as I shoot this video, it's been almost 10 months of me not having any sex with a partner. And towards the end of this video, I am going to talk about, trying to open myself up to a partnership, even though it's a little bit tough, but we'll get to that. For now, I just want to talk about the reason why I'm no longer having casual sex. And yeah. I don't know if some of you experience this, but the energy that your partner brings into the bedroom is so important. And if you do end up meeting somebody, kudos to you for being completely sexually open. If there's something that you're trying to experience, if it's something that you a part of your life that you're going through, if it's a phase, if it's something that you've decided that you want to do because you know how to navigate this space, kudos to you. I have learned that, or I'm continuing to learn more about myself and more about how to navigate these spaces. And I know that if I meet somebody like in a bar or at a concert or something somewhere out, and we start to have conversations and everything clicks and we have mad body chemistry and we just want to devour each other, I would much rather wait. Now, I would much rather wait. In my 20s, oh my Lord, actually, even in the beginning of my 30s, there's nothing that could stop me. If I had mad sexual chemistry with somebody, that is something that I was going to explore. But right now, I'm so much more concerned about the way that I feel the day after. For me, the longevity of the feeling plays a bigger role than the exciting burst of, I can't handle. I'm too introverted, too introspective to have like flings and one night stands now. I don't believe that it's impossible to find somebody and then I've had experiences where people were really good and the energy was good and the vibe was good and the next day I felt good. But more often than not, those situations are they don't happen. It's just, for the most part, it's just like feeling yucky. For the most part, where I've slept with somebody like once or twice, and then the thing is like you feel bad and then you go back hoping that it'll feel better the second time and it doesn't. Yeah, I just find that like breathing in people's energy or even just bringing people's energy into my personal space, like my bedroom, that's something that I don't want to do anymore. I want to be able to share my space and share my energy with somebody who respects my energy and my space and somebody who gets what I'm saying. So I don't want to have a conversation with somebody and then be like, yeah, so we need to be vibing on the same plane. And then they just don't understand what I'm saying. But by the time you're coming into my bedroom, be knowing that us guys are vibrating on the same plane. And I found that it's really hard for me to find people like that. But I don't blame people. I blame myself. I'm a complete introvert. It's getting out of this house is close to impossible for me. And even more so with quarantine, I've just become so much more introverted. And so finding a partner is a lot harder. And I wanted to do this Instagram dating thing and then I never did it. But the idea of it freaks me out. Have you ever hooked up with somebody and been ghosted? Let me tell you about my toxic ass. I'm a ghost. I'm one of those people. I'm terrible. So if I have that yucky feeling in the morning, then I ghost. I've done it in the past. But now I'm more conscious about it, that when I start talking to a new partner, I always bring it up. I'm just like, by the way, I'm a ghost. So I'm really worried about having sex with you because I might ghost you. And I understand this about myself. And I try to be, over the past few years, I've been really good at it. But also I've slept with like a handful of people, probably less. But I do tell people now, like going in from day one, I'm just like, I have an issue, like I will be very attracted to you, but the attraction can end so quickly and I don't even know where that comes from. I do have habits of running away from people when I feel like there's a possibility that I might fall for them, so I do that, I run. And that is definitely, I know what that is, man. I can sit with a therapist and we'll discuss this. Actually, let me know if that's something you want to do. Like we can explore all of these different aspects with a therapist. So almost like having a therapy session that would be filmed for YouTube. I think that would make for a really good content. And if you think that's something that you'd like to watch, please let me know. And while you're down there, hit the subscribe button. I am just one of those people who has so many reasons to run away. I have so many reasons to run away from somebody the next day or the next week. It's bad. It's a bad toxic habit, and I can call it out on other people because I can see it in myself, and I actually understand ghosting. I get it. I know why they didn't call you. I know why they don't call you. I know why, because I'm that person, and I have been that person, but I'm definitely getting better at doing better with people in my life. So if anybody I've ever ghosted is watching this, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And now to manifest a few things for my future partner. I am looking for somebody who is like me. Actually, I should look in the camera. I'm looking for somebody who is like me. I really am. I want somebody who is charismatic. I do really want somebody who's in sex work in whichever way. Just because I feel like the getting to know each other part will be easier, I imagine. I want somebody who's queer, who's openly queer. I do want somebody who is polyamorous. Or if you're not polyamorous or ethically non-monogamous, I do want somebody who is open with having a partner that is polyamorous or ethically non-monogamous. That's me. And I want somebody who's kind. Sense of humor is the greatest attribute for me. I want somebody who, like, I can sit and talk to for hours. I want somebody who's not ashamed of the work that I do. I want somebody who's not ashamed of the fact that I show my body and that I am happy to show my body. And I want somebody who's very secure in themselves and very secure in their sexuality, whatever that is. So these are some of the things that I'm trying to manifest, knowing what my toxic traits are, coming out of my toxic traits, and then trying to find a partner. And I think this is, I feel like this might be a good platform to have this conversation, because I honestly don't know how to go about dating. I have a very dear friend of mine who sent a message to all of her friends saying that she's looking for a partner and she wanted to be hooked up. And I thought that would be a good idea, but then I'm also not sure if I'm ready to date. But I know that there is instances when I feel like I am. I miss the romance. I miss those nice little new things. I think one of the reasons that I'm polyamorous is because I really love the newness of things. I love new romances. And I don't necessarily get bored of people that I'm in love with. When I fall in love, I love forever. Every single one of my partners that I've ever dated, I'm still friends with, and I still love entirely. You can ask them, they know. This is how I navigate my polyamory, and I am looking for somebody, I think. No, I am looking for somebody, and I want somebody to find me where I am, which is now in my kind of confused place, so that maybe they can help me move into the next phase of my life. I think that is important. And to wind up, I just want to say thank you. Please make sure that you hit the subscribe button over here. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm really trying to put out more content, story of my goddamn life. But I am consistent about being inconsistent, so you gotta give me props for that. And if there's anything that you want to watch or anything that you want to hear on the podcast, I feel like after such a terrible quarantine time, I feel like I'm up and ready for the challenge of creating beautiful stuff that is educational for you, stuff that you want to know about your body, about your relationships, about your sexuality, and stuff that I'm so happy to talk about. So please drop me an email or leave a comment or follow, or just slide into my DM on Instagram. I usually check people's DMs as long as you're not asking me for anything unsolicited. Other than that, if this was helpful for you, please give it a thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.